Welcome back to the graveyard, everybody. My name is Mads, and today's video is not going to have even close to the amount of quality that my videos normally do. Not that they have much to begin with. I am like half dressed right now, and that is because I was getting ready for a work meeting today. I have a lot of stuff to do at work.
I'm sleepy. I'm a sleepy little owl.
But I saw something in an article online and I felt the need to speak up about it because this is something that is becoming more commonplace, and I'm mostly seeing the vocal majority of able-bodied people discuss it, not people who are chronically ill or disabled in any way. And it affects us more than anybody else, and that's concerts. So in this case, it's the band Ghost. Although I have seen many other bands up to this point implement a similar rule. So Ghost, for anyone who doesn't know, is a band that is considered part of the rock genre, and one of their big things that they love to do is make sure that each record is kind of inspired by a different era of rock in history. So like there's one that sounds like it's from the 60s, one that sounds like it's from the 80s, and so on and so forth. You get the picture. It's also kind of reverse religious. So there's somebody called a papa, which is played by the main singer, Tobias. And there's different iterations of papa. That's a huge deal within the Ghost community, is when one papa dies and the next one takes over. It's like this cool rite that happens. And what's really great too, considering they haven't had this level of fame and popularity for very long yet, is the fact that Ghost goes out of their way to ensure that their concerts are a spectacle. They're like, listen, we know that going to a concert is a big deal. We want to make you excited. Therefore, we're going to make this as bombastic and cool as we possibly can right now. I love that because there's nothing more disappointing to me than you buying expensive concert tickets, because let's face it, they are not cheap these days. The days of cheap concert tickets are very dead now. On top of that, many people also need to travel to get to concerts. They have to go out of state or sometimes even out of country to get to a concert. And once you've done all that, the last thing you want to see is a bunch of guys just standing in front of a microphone, doing nothing, barely moving. If I wanted to see that, I could just stand in my living room strumming along on a guitar while listening to a record myself. Like, what's the point? Make it bombastic, make it cool, make it worth the amount of money and travel that people put into attending this concert. And they do. However, there is something that was kind of sneaky this time. It did exist on their social media and on their website. However, it was in the fine print that a lot of people did not immediately notice. Now, I found this information on an article from Loudwire, and you can actually easily fact check it by finding it on their social media and their own website after reading the article. I'm glad Loudwire came out about this because some people have not noticed it yet. The article reads as follows. There's something you may not have noticed about Ghost's 2025 World Tour announcement earlier today. This was October 28th. The Tobias Forge-led Swedish band revealed a 55-date world tour of Europe and North America, with more shows to be announced in the future. The North American leg features a July performance at New York City's Madison Square Garden, which will be Ghost's very first time playing the iconic venue. What fans may have missed, though, is a message included in the fine print on Ghost's social media and their official website, which states that the tour will be a phone-free experience. Quote, this show will be a phone-free experience. Phones will be secured in yonder pouches. Guests maintain possession of their phones at all times, the full message reads. Ghost have implemented a no-phones policy for concerts in the past, specifically for their 2 September 2023 performances at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. Attendees were given yonder pouches for their phones, smartwatches, and other related accessories then as well. Quote, anyone seen using a device during a performance will be escorted out of the venue by security. We appreciate your cooperating in creating a phone-free viewing experience. And then they go to explain the yonder pouch. Now, right off the bat, I will say there's already a lot of misinformation spreading about online about this. People saw that the phone will be locked away and they immediately just ran with it. People are panicking. People are being like, oh my God, they're going to lock your phones in lockers. You'll have no way to access them. Oh my God, I don't want them taking my phone away. That's my personal property. That's not what's happening. It's going to be in a pouch that you have on your person. So no like random schmo at the event center is going to just take your phone away from you. You secure in a pouch and you simply cannot physically take it out of the pouch unless you leave the concert area. That's all it is. So I want to ease people's minds already with that, because so many people were misunderstanding what lock it up meant, and it was causing an absolute row on social media this morning. Now, as some people can probably imagine, fans are feeling very, very split about this. There's actually quite a few people that I saw on various social media posts who were really happy about this. They were like, concerts should always be phone-free events. You shouldn't be sitting there filming, taking photos, just staring at a screen. You spend potentially hundreds of dollars to be here. You probably travel to be here. Why the hell are you just sitting there on your phone? You could have just looked up the concert on YouTube if that's all you cared about. And that content creation has become like a blight on concerts and stuff, because people spend money on this, for some, once in a lifetime experience if they are low income people, and then the people in front of them ruin it because the glow of their phones is in the way of their viewing experience. I totally understand and appreciate that. I also understand and appreciate that in the past, Ghosts have not implemented this rule at every concert. They have at some, though. One of the examples was when they were filming some of their concerts themselves to include in their movie. That is an understandable reason. And of course, they weren't upfront about the reason because they wanted the movie to be a surprise at the time. Another assumption going through the Ghost community is that they could be killing off this Papa and creating a new one. And that if that's what's happening, that's a huge deal in the Ghost community. So they might not want people spoiling the surprise before others have a chance to go to the concerts. I don't think that's it. I understand what led people to that conclusion. I don't think that's it, simply because that's not going to make much of a difference, implementing a no phones policy. People are just going to go online afterwards and be like, I just came back from the Ghost 2025 World Tour and there's a new Papa. Like, they know that. I think it's potentially one of two reasons. One may be that their movie did well. It did well enough that it's probably worth their time to invest in another one. They may be just filming their own footage again, or even just releasing like a world tour DVD or something. The other reason could be that this particular venue may have a safety thing implemented. New York City can be very dangerous. Concert venues can be very dangerous. And the world is on fire lately, in case you hadn't noticed. It could just be that the venue asked them to make it phones free because they don't want people like getting in each other's faces and fighting during it. It could be as simple as that. Now, we've discussed the people who are generally happy about this. There are people who are unhappy. Many of the people who are saying they're unhappy about it are saying that it bothers them because it's going to ruin the hype. They're like, a lot of the hype around concerts and world tours and stuff from bands comes from the fact that people who have seen the tour ahead of others are posting things like GIFs and video clips and little snippets from backstage if they have a VIP pass or something, and that gets people excited and makes it so more people want to attend the concert. And that is true to a point. However, when a band is as big as the band Ghost is, I don't think we necessarily need extra hype, but I definitely understand where those people are coming from. Like, yeah, you do get even more excited when you see like, oh, they're going to be doing this cool new stunt on stage for this one or something. Of course, then you're going to want to see it more. What I didn't see Loudwire bring up, and what I haven't seen a lot of people bring up in their social media posts about this, is that the people who are going to be punished most severely by this no phones policy is the disabled and chronically ill community. I don't know how many of you know this, but a lot of people who are chronically ill and disabled now use our phones as a medical device. It is a medical device. A lot of software dealing with heart health, blood pressure health, diabetes, and blood sugar, very important things like that, are all stored on your phone. Your phone is how you access the software necessary to take care of those medical issues. Your phone is what you need to access when you are logging something so that your doctor can see in the moment what was going on and track it back. And it's dangerous to think they'll be in these yonder cases. So, okay, yes, you can technically access it, but you have to leave the concert venue and get to a spot where it will actually unlock for you. And for people with like type 1 diabetes and POTS and epilepsy and heart disease, it could already be too late by the time they get past the crowds. Concerts are already an inherently hostile environment for a lot of disabled and chronically ill people. Unfortunately, I don't blame the bands for that. If they're not disabled, they don't know. But many venues have shown, oh, look, we have a disabled area, and it's frankly dangerous. It'll be like a little square of people in wheelchairs sitting in the middle of the floor getting trampled by people. Or we're up so high up that we can't see anything and it's near impossible for us to get out of that environment. In many cases, there's no priority towards disabled and chronically ill people. And the biggest issue with this policy, in my opinion, as a disabled individual, as an individual with chronic health problems, is that there is no written provision under these rules. And there usually isn't. I understand if you want to implement a no phones policy at your concert, it is your right as the band or the venue to do that. I completely understand the many reasons there could be for wanting to implement that kind of policy, but before you put it in writing on social media and on your website, you should be consulting disabled people and saying, all right, we need to do no phones. We'd rather not discuss why. How can we make sure disabled people are taken care of and are in a safe environment at our concerts while still implementing as much of a no phones policy as we can? You can make sure that disabled people have to submit a form and get a lanyard or something that says, I'm a disabled individual. I'm allowed to take out my phone for medical reasons. If you catch me on my camera, sure, escort me out. I deserve it then. But if I'm clearly on like a medical app or something, leave me the hell alone. Because the thing is, it said clearly, if you're calling your phone, they're escorting you out. These security officers mean business. They are not going to wait for you to explain that you were just trying to deal with your type 1 diabetes. They're just going to take you out of the venue. That's it. They don't have time and frankly probably can't hear you well enough in there to deal with it in the moment. That's a problem. And yes, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, if you implement a policy like putting a special lanyard or wristband or something on people who are allowed to be on their phones for medical purposes, people are going to exploit and abuse that. I know. They always have exploited and abused it in the past with like theme park tickets and stuff. It's just going to happen, unfortunately, because some people suck. I would rather at a concert of like 25,000 people, have 10,000 people fake a disability and gain access to this pass and get kicked out when the security sees they're not using an app for medical stuff. They're using their cameras. So clearly they're, not using their phone for the right reason. I'd rather have that happen than no one have the ability to access their phone and somebody dies at a concert or has a serious medical episode at an event where they were supposed to be having fun, where they were supposed to be escaping the problems of their real life and just enjoying themselves. Most disabled people feel the same way. We'd rather a few fakes get in, they normally are caught eventually, and have the disabled people be safe and happy than have absolutely no rules implemented. I don't have much else to say on the matter. It's just something I saw this morning while I was getting ready for work, and I thought it was worth talking about because it is very important. And unfortunately, when it comes to concerts, most of the time, disabled people are basically punished out of them. Like, it's very difficult for us to go to concerts because of venue problems. And then this is just further alienating us. I think you can have a no phones policy while making sure that people who need to access them for medical reasons are still able to do so without problem. But that's all I have for it. Do something that makes you happy today, so long as you're harming no one in the process, and I'll see everyone in the next one.